Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about combining exercises again, because again, people like examples. Because I've said many times, the best way to grow a muscle is to pick two different good exercises for that muscle and to train both of them. Right? And this is what the research shows, this is what the data shows. We know that some variation in your training actually produces more hypertrophy. Right? It produces more hypertrophy. Now, in this case, you guys will see me in the background doing all closed grip stuff because that's what I do, and I may still be doing by the time this video comes out. But yeah, so I did sets of closed grip bench press followed by sets of incline bench press, and this is a phenomenal combination. Right? It's a great combination, and actually, it's a really good combination for increasing your bench press. For reasons we can get into in a minute. But if we start just talking about chest, right, we start talking about chest and overall chest development. Now, we see EMG data and we look at biomechanics on the pecs, and a lot of people have this idea that, stuff like a flat bench only works your lower chest, right, and that the incline bench only works your upper chest. And that's not actually true. When you look at hypertrophy studies, the hypertrophy is pretty similar between them. Right? In terms of just overall chest development, yeah, muscle fibers are recruited more, or they seem to be more active on lifts depending upon the angle, but it doesn't seem to massively impact pectoral size, like the actual growth that you get. So just something to keep in mind there, that again, just because there's more emphasis in an area doesn't mean you're going to see double the growth in that part of the muscle versus the other. You'll see a very small bias. Right? So if you have something that seems to show on an EMG that much larger activation in one head of a muscle than the other compared to a different lift, which you might actually only see when you measure it, is like 5% more growth in that area. Even though the activity might be doubled, right? It's very small, and you're going to see very little difference. But if we start thinking in terms of total muscle fiber recruitment, you take flatter benching, or benching with an arch or even a mild decline, and you compare it with incline, what you're getting is that, yes, there's a slightly different emphasis in upper versus lower chest. Both exercises work the entire chest, and they will hypertrophy the entire chest, but what we're getting is a little more complete recruitment. Right? We're getting a little more complete recruitment through there. Okay, and that's going to end up producing more pectoral growth. And it's not going to be double. Again, people have this idea we combine a couple exercises. No, we're just going to see a little bit more growth because we've used two really good exercises. Now, we could make the case for dumbbells on chest, and I actually like dumbbells for chest pressing. I prescribe them to a lot of my clients. I would probably use them some if I had a full set of dumbbells, right? Just at a point where, at least at the time of making this video, I don't want to dedicate the floor space or money to really having a good full dumbbell set. But it's not a bad thing to have. And pecs actually respond very well to dumbbell presses. I just don't think that they're automatically superior to a barbell. That's again where people mess up. They give you some extra variation that will get some fibers that you may not be getting with the barbell. Right? You're going to get some new novel stimulus. So I would never even replace the barbell. I would do it in addition. Right? As another lift, just like we can add incline to the flat bench. It's a good idea. Okay, so what changes though? Well, not just the pecs, but what we get in other muscles. And this is one of the things that matters. When we go to an incline, yes, it works the upper chest more, but it also works the front delts more. Okay, it actually seems to work triceps a little bit less, arguably, again, based upon the limited data we have. But if you think about overall muscle balance, what happens? One of them works the whole chest with a slight bias towards the lower chest, still works the front delts, but less than the other, but more tricep. And then these things are reversed on the other lift. Well, the end result of this is that we're going to get better pec, delt, and shoulder development. Okay? And I'm not saying that these are the only lifts we should be doing for our shoulders or our triceps, because you guys know I don't believe that. I do a lot of tricep specialization because I need it. These are really not enough for me. And they're probably not enough for a lot of lifters. They are for a few. But I'm going to say those people are in the minority. You know, the guys who, if they just did these, would get really big, thick, strong triceps, they're the exception. They're not the norm. They're the outliers. Those are guys who are just genetically predisposed to having massive triceps. And they would probably have even bigger triceps if they added more tricep work, in spite of that genetic predisposition. But let's come over to what happens here. We know that when we start talking about a max bench, so again, this is a big benefit. We start talking about the max bench. Your max bench actually uses more delt and tricep than your higher rep work does on the bench. Okay? So, what does that tell us? Well, that means the incline is working harder, one of the potential weak links in your max bench that may not be coming out on your rep work, right? If you're doing 8s and 10s for your flat work, you see more pec dominance. Okay? And this is what some of the data out there has found. Right? The lower rep benching works more delts and less pec. And it actually works more tricep, or uses more tricep and delt. Okay. So when we do a secondary lift that adds more to one of those movements, such as, again, more deltoid being used, more front delt being used on the incline. And the incline bench is arguably one of the best front delt exercises ever. You could argue that it is the best. I'll put it top 3 no matter what. Front delt activation is enormous, and the range of motion is enormous. Okay, this will bring up your bench max, right? The incline bench is a great accessory to your flat bench. So we're no longer just talking about, hey, are we going to get better complete chest development? We're now coming over to even for powerlifting. Like your max bench, if you get really strong at incline work, or even good at the rep work, let's say you're just doing it purely for hypertrophy, you're going to build bigger, stronger front delts at a better ratio that is closer to what you see on your maxes versus your rep work on the bench. All right, this has a lot of potential to bring up your max bench, even though you're doing it as thinking of oftentimes as a second chest exercise. There's a lot of synergy there, isn't there? Okay. And if that's what you're doing, that will handle a lot of that. And we could come in and say that for a lot of lifters, if they just combine flat bench with incline, and then they did some extra tricep work, their max bench potential is going to go up a lot. It's going to go up tremendously. So adding something like an incline is, again, another lift to the flat bench to get more complete chest development, carries over to other muscles besides the chest that will help you with your benching. It'll help you with your overall strength. This is a really good combination. Not saying it's what everyone needs to do, but it is a very, very effective combination for multiple reasons. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.